Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Cassidy.
And we wanted to tell you in this video a little bit about our marathon that we're running. We're running a marathon at Walt Disney World for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. That's for people with type 1 diabetes. Over this video, we want to tell you a little bit about what it means to be a diabetic. I'm type 1 diabetic, and also what giving to this organization would do with your funds. And so we look forward to telling you all about it. So I wanted to start off and tell you a little bit about my story. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes about this time, about 10 or 11 years ago. I was going to my 7th grade, and we were actually on a trip to Disneyland. And on that trip, I was starting to experience some symptoms, starting to feel sick here and there. And we figured out I was going to the restroom anywhere from 10 to about 20, 25 times a day. And so when we were actually on that trip at Disneyland, my dad was like, we need to get this checked out. So as soon as we got back from Disneyland that week after, went to the doctor. They ran some tests on me, told me that my blood sugar was high. I was going to the restroom a lot because my body was trying to flush out the sugar in my system. And so that was a pretty traumatic moment for me and my family, but luckily I had my family to really support me and be there for me and help me really understand what it's like to be type 1 diabetic.
So I met Jonathan the winter break right before I was about to go home for the break, Christmas, and we talked for about a whole month before I went back to school in January. Never mentioned anything about, any like chronic illnesses or diseases that he had, and on our first date, didn't even tell me then. He actually left his bag in the restaurant that we were eating at, and when we left I said,
typical of me.
Yeah, it's typical. When we left I said, Jonathan, do you need this bag? And he's like, oh yeah, I am diabetic. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. And so that was how I found out that he has diabetes, and it was an interesting revelation, but it certainly didn't make me think any differently of him.
So what's it like to be a diabetic? So everyone has a pancreas, and everyone's pancreas creates insulin, and that insulin breaks down carbs. My pancreas doesn't do that, so I have to take shots every day in order for my body to be able to break down the carbs and the sugars that I eat. So I take on average 4 to 6 shots per day. That's about 2,000 shots per year. That's a lot of shots. I don't even get a lollipop for that. And I also have to check my blood sugar anywhere from 8 to 10 times per day. And that tells me whether my blood sugar is high or whether my blood sugar is low. I already told you about some of the symptoms when your blood sugar is high, but when your blood sugar is low, it's oftentimes dangerous. It can lead to passing out. It can lead to you being weak, lots of sweating. It's no fun. And so overall, being diabetic, the two big things that you really have to look out for are the shots that you have to take every day, and then really at least once a day, you're normally feeling sick of some kind because your blood sugar is high or your blood sugar is low. So really just trying to regulate that throughout the day. That's really some of the harder things for being a type 1 diabetic.
So the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation exists to improve lives by curing type 1 diabetes. The reason that John and I are running this race with the JDRF is that every proceed that we raise will go to help find those cures, whether that's in advances in technology or in medicine, whatever that might look like. I chose to run this with Jonathan so that I could help him improve his life. I hate to see him taking all those shots. It's kind of sad for me. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes, even if that's running 26.2 really hard miles, if that will help the lives of the diabetics who have to prick their fingers every single day.
So thanks for taking the time to listen to us and hear about my story about being diabetic. From here, we're asking for your support. Feel free to click the link below in the description, or feel free to just talk to me and Cassidy more about it. And feel free to donate on our page. There's where we're also going to be giving updates about our training. And for also some diabetic friends out there, I have a lot of diabetic friends who doing long-term physical activity is hard for them. So I'm just going to be recording kind of just my journey and what it's like being a diabetic and running that much and trying to maintain an accurate blood sugar really over the course of the run. So feel free to stay in touch with us through our page and then also just by word of mouth. So thank you so much.